Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Alrighty, here we go. Manifesting 102. I manifested the man of my dreams. And this may not be for everybody, but the 6 principles that I share in this podcast about manifesting can be applicable to you no matter what you're trying to manifest. Okay? So it's not just about getting a relationship. If you already have a great relationship, high five. Good job. I'm excited for you. So, but I happen to be one of those that was married for 26 years and I was no longer available to stay in a codependent relationship. It was killing me. Like my health crashed and everything. I was a mess. I'll just say that. My kids were great. My husband at the time was fine on his own. But I was turning into a mess because we couldn't get our stuff together. So we did a great job managing a family together as far as keeping the wheels on for the most part. But I had turned into a mess. I was not having fun anymore. And it was bigger than that. But so I'm not trying to minimize it by saying I ran out of fun. We literally couldn't figure it out together. And so being that I felt like I was hurting him and not contributing to the relationship anymore, I just couldn't. I stepped away to go make a decision and make sure I wasn't just throwing the D word around for kicks and giggles, because I really took it seriously, and I didn't sign up to get a divorce when I got married. So this was a very, very big decision for me. And so in this time frame when I was trying to sift and sort between who I am, what do I want, why am I dying in my relationship, why do I feel like my life has crashed, my health crashed, and I just couldn't get out of bed. I ran out of hope for the future. In fact, I'd always been a very enthusiastic person, and I just could not get a handle on the future. Just couldn't. I couldn't even hardly get a handle on the day I was living. So I went to discover what the problem was, and that was huge. It was huge because I needed to get away. When you're up close to something, it's really hard to get a real good look at what you're looking at. It'd be like looking at a masterpiece dead on 2 inches away from the masterpiece. You can't really grasp the whole picture. You have to back up and take a look. So I had to back up and take a look. And what I discovered was that I didn't have a lot of clarity. I was still questioning, is it me? Is it the relationship? Because I was actually married to a very loyal, very upstanding citizen. He was just a good person. And I'm like, how is it possible that I am dying in this relationship? And I can tell you that the answer came to me eventually, that I chose a relationship for myself that reflected who I was back then, 26 years prior. And who I was back then was somebody that was carrying around really heavy stories about you'll never be enough and you will never be loved and you'll never be good enough to be loved. Like that, my greatest fear was being unloved. And so I exhausted myself trying to be loved by this person who was a good person. And in all my trying, I just had to take a break and give myself a break from the trying, because trying, in quotes, trying is working really hard at something and not getting it done, right? trying and doing are different. Doing is manifesting. Trying is not manifesting. It's not getting the thing done that you want done. It was just a lot of work. And so what I wanted was deep connection. I wanted like a meeting of the minds. I wanted like all the chemistry and the warm fuzzies and the feeling of home with my partner. And I couldn't get it with the one I was married to. And even though it's like, well, yeah, but you leave that one. And then it's like, well, is there somebody out there that's going to meet your every need? And it's like, yes. The answer is yes, if you get yourself right. And so that's what I was doing. I was getting myself right. I was trying to figure out who I am and what do I want. Those are the most key questions you could ever ask yourself, because if you are saying to yourself, I don't know, and I don't know, congratulations, I don't know is a dream killer, and you continue to not get the dream because you don't know. And it was in this moment that I decided I needed to step away, that I started gaining clarity about who I am and what I want. So in that process, I walked myself through 6 steps that I didn't know were 6 steps. It just happened to be the natural progression of finding my way to a relationship that I could feel like I could grow in and I would be fulfilled in. So in these 5 or 6 steps that I'm going to share with you, you can also picture your relationship, even if it's a current relationship. This is not a how to get divorced podcast episode, I promise. But you can also find out who you are and what you want, and take these 6 steps into account and improve the relationship you're in, or manifest that thing that you've been wanting that has eluded you until now. Okay? So step 1 was be a daydream believer. I had to daydream about the possibilities. Now I had done that in my relationship before, but it was a dead end every time. Like, it just didn't pan out the way I was dreaming it could. And I was trying to be as realistic as possible, because everybody's got flaws. I was accepting responsibility for mine, and he had his, which I could not do anything about. I could not change him, because you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. So I was doing what I could, but in the end, I couldn't do any more other than what I had already done. So the daydream was important for me in this new phase of my life of deciding what I needed to have to be as happy and fulfilled as possible. So being a daydreamer helped me understand that the daydream was possible, but I was the contributing factor to the daydream. So you are the reason that you get the daydream you want or not, that you manifest the relationship you want or not. You are the determining factor. And so when I say that, I determined the relationship I wanted by opting out. I determined the relationship I wanted by getting clear and inviting a new one. I determined because I was changing. I was deciding that codependency and a life of ill health, emotional ill health, was not what I intended to do with my life. So, dreaming bigger is really important. Dreaming beyond the standard you've lived by in the past. So if the standard was, it's not terrible, that's really not a great standard to hold yourself up to. Like, that's not where your happiness is going to lie. So if you can do something about it where you are, as you are, do something about it. Because the question is, how good can this get? How good can this get? When I was in my marriage, my first marriage, I asked myself, how good can this get? And I did everything that I knew how to do at the time while still trying to manage codependency. And I'm telling you, you can't manage codependency. It's not manageable. You need to excuse it and let it go. And I'll do other podcasts in the future about codependency and setting boundaries and all of that. But this one's about manifesting the man of my dreams. So I'm going to jump ahead, and so number 1 is be a daydream believer. Number 2 is know who you are. Assume your personal growth. So if you're not growing, you're dying. And personal growth is a need of the spirit as well as contribution. So the two needs of the spirit are growth and contribution. So if you're not growing, you're dying. I was dying. So I needed to grow. I knew it was important to grow, but I also needed to put myself in a situation if I wanted a future relationship where growth was who I was, that I didn't stifle that and hold myself back because somebody else in the relationship wasn't interested in really growing. They wanted to continue to do the same things that they've always done, and we were getting the same things we'd always gotten. So I just couldn't do that anymore because it was killing me. So growing is so important. And my personal growth, I assumed I would always grow. So the relationship that I was interested in having in the future would have to have, number one, the ability and the space for me to grow. So I did that. I set myself up. Once the divorce was final, I set myself up ready to be a giver looking for a receiver. Does that make sense? And also a receiver or a giver who is looking for me, a receiver, meaning to give my love to someone and have them fully accept it. And also for them to give their love to me and for me to fully accept it. Now that might sound really elementary and no duh, but it was not something that I went into my first marriage with. I mean, I literally married on the premise of, how bad could it be? So, what not to do when you're looking for the ideal relationship is don't throw it out there to chance. You got to know what you want, what you're looking for. So, I really got clear on me and what I was doing to contribute to codependency. And I also got clear on who I was and who would be a complement to me or who I could complement. So giving and receiving was important. And, if one of the ways to know if who you are and who you might be looking for is to understand your energy patterns. That's a big one too. Like, I'm not a person that needs a ton of solitude. I really like connectivity and togetherness, and teamwork is one of my main and highest values. So I was looking for somebody that had that mindset, somebody that loved togetherness, that loved teamwork, that wanted to do life together, right? And so, but if you're somebody that needs solitude, you're not going to want to look for someone like that. That's not going to be a good fit for you. Somebody that's like, oh my gosh, you need to take a break again. You need quiet time again. You need alone time again. Really? Like, that's not going to work for you. So this was something that I knew would work for me because I knew I was a cuddler. I'm a together person. I'm a person who needs personal growth. I love to give and receive love. And I'm a high energy person. I wanted someone that also had high energy output. I was looking to be integrated into somebody's life, not necessarily for them to integrate into my life. Very specific stuff, right? I was looking to be integrated. That's not something that everybody's looking for. They're like, well, we'll figure it out. It's like, you got to know what you're looking for. Are you looking for somebody to walk into your home and take up residency with you? Or are you willing to sell your house and take up residency in a mutually decided on home? Like, whatever that is, like, those are big items to think through about who you are. I was looking for intense chemistry because I can be rather intense when it comes to love. And I wanted someone who really could be a sounding board for me, that I have a pretty strong opinion about things and I can sometimes bowl people over, and it's not my intention to do that, but I also wanted somebody that had an equally or greater opinion that I could use as a sounding board. I could bounce an idea off this person and really trust that they weren't going to care about hurting my feelings as much as they were going to give me a real honest answer from their point of view. that was going to be huge for me, because I believe that's part of teamwork, that there's a high value system there, that if they're unsure and they're talking to me and I'm a good listener and they're, giving me their opinion and I give one back, and it makes them stop and think and go, let me sift and sort between these ideas. Thank you for your feedback. Like, I feel like that is what teamwork looks like, right? So that was really big to me. So know who you are, and assume that no matter what relationship you're entering into, even if it's just a new one with you, that there will be personal growth. So you got to allow room for that, okay? Number 3 is get clear. Get clear, make a list. Like, I didn't just make a list of who I was and what I wanted. I made a list about who he was. And even though I never met him yet, and I wrote single space, no punctuation, 3 pages. It turned into 3 pages, not a list, just paragraph form, no punctuation, just one thought it just rolled into my head. And I think that was part of the dreaming. Like, if you do the list about you, it starts to really resonate who he might be, or who your partner might be. He, she, whoever that is. But getting clear and making that list, because then you start to see yourself make stuff up or dream about something that's totally doable. Like, because I have high energy, I wanted someone that I would have to run to keep up with. I didn't want to have to be dragging somebody along that was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And it's like, oh, the energy's low. I was like, some people are low key and low key together. That's fun to be low key together. Awesome. But that wasn't who I was. So I was like, I want someone I have to run to keep up with. I want somebody out in front showing me the way. Like, I don't want to have to guess at it anymore. Like, that really was important to me. And it's very specific to who I am and who I thought would bring something to the table that would be energizing and realistic, right? So something else I wanted was somebody that was cuddly and wanted unspoken closeness, like almost like mind reading. Like, we could just tell by the way each other looked that, just from a look, what they were thinking about. I wanted somebody who was adventurous, that would take me and willingly teach me outdoor skills I didn't even have yet at the time. And I wanted somebody, again, that had togetherness in the forefront of his mind, that he wanted me with him. I felt that was very important. I wanted somebody, something I put down that was very specific. I wanted somebody with man hands. I wanted somebody that was a woodworker, that could create things, that was a builder, that just really, again, I told you in the last episode that I was a super utilitarian person. I like it when I can be of use to people and to build things and, just hands-on. And I wanted somebody that was also creative that way. I wanted somebody that felt like home, like I'd known him my whole life, and it was just felt so easy and clear. I wanted somebody who loved his mother and she loved him, and there was this strong connection. Like, that may seem obvious, but not everybody comes with that particular gift and quality about them. I wanted loyalty above and beyond, just the basic stuff. Like, that's a very high value of mine. So you can see a lot of values running through here, that loyalty, and I wanted a family man, somebody that really valued family. I wanted somebody that, was, I said connector, and like high values that were a unit, we're a team, we're one in the same. Really, that's what I wanted. That was what was going to be good for me. I wanted somebody funny, laugh with, and be silly with, and I wanted a deep appreciation for the emotional connection that we would develop, because I can go pretty deep emotionally. Like, I can go really deep, and sometimes it can be brain damage, because I can start overthinking stuff based on my emotions. But, I am an emotional development coach, so I have learned to rein it in too over the years as I have practiced, now that I have the relationship. And so here's the thing. Number 4, be open to receiving. you've got nothing to lose by being open, transparent, like, see me, hear me, I'm right here. And if you meet somebody and it's not the right connection, you're like, thank you for your time. I wish you the best of luck. And you move on to your merry way, because a no is not rejection. A no is, wipe your brow. You didn't open that can of worms. Like, that wouldn't have been a good connection. Not that they were a bad person, but it wouldn't have been a good connection for what you're looking for, right? So I just opened myself up. I'm like, I'm just gonna put myself out there. I actually put my profile up on Match.com, and I was like, let's just see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? And I didn't actually say that, because that's how I got myself into the first relationship. So, but I do kind of have that mindset, because I'm such an optimist, and I'm like, how bad could it be? But that's not a good standard to live by, I've learned over the years. So I really thought, I'm going to be picky. I'm going to be decisive, but I'm still going to put myself out there and open myself up to all possibilities. So again, I had nothing to lose, honestly. So when I met my husband, it was funny, because we were on Match.com, and there's a reason why people in our 40s and 50s are single, and many of them were on Match.com, and it was like, oh no, oh no, and hell no. So, it was slim pickings, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work out. But I went ahead and just started, I widened my search. I opened up the age range and opened myself up to possibilities. And it was no, oh no, and hell no. They were the first three that I saw. And then it was my future husband. There he was, and he was the only guy in a suit. I don't have anything against tattoos, but all the other guys were like massive tats, all leather, duck lips, and you kind of can get the idea, open with a beer can. And I'm not a drinker, so that didn't appeal to me, right? So, and so there he was in a suit, smiling. His pictures all indicated that he was super active outdoors, biking, hiking, camping, that sort of thing. And his kids were the last picture on there, and they were just bright lights, because that was another thing on my list, no drama. I just was not going to walk into a situation of hate and loathing between exes, because I didn't have that relationship with my ex-husband, and I wasn't about to take one of those on. So there he was, and they were just so bright. I was like, surely there's some goodness in this, and even if good things can come of a divorce, that the kids made it through mostly unscathed. So that was huge. So it was so interesting, because the way the North Carolina law works is that you have to be separated for a year before you can actually apply for the divorce. So the divorce only takes a month. But the year was killer, because I had been ready for a different relationship for many, many years. So when I was like, okay, we're doing this and we're getting the divorce, I was kind of like, oh my goodness, the timing of it all. So number 5 is trust the timing. Do not work hard at this, because I'm telling you, when the timing was right and the divorce was final, and I put my profile up on Match.com, he was there, the first search. The timing was incredible. But if I had started looking sooner, I would have been like, oh, where is he? I can't find him. I'll never find love, la, 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 la. But his divorce literally wasn't final until March, and we met in May. And so he hadn't put his profile up until March. And so if I had, prior, the year before, been all antsy about getting the right guy right now, I wouldn't have been the right person, for starters, because I did a lot of work in that year, a lot of work to change my mindset about what had happened in my life up until that point and who I was moving forward in the future. I had done a lot of personal discovery work. So when it came time to put my profile up, it was easy. I did not have to work hard at it. The timing was impeccable. And I didn't I didn't do anything to make that happen other than I trusted that we would find each other when the timing was right. So trust the timing. And number 6, know that everything is being worked out for you. Everything out there, just picture everything as a puzzle. Like in my particular instance, like I had to get clarity. That was a piece of the puzzle. And then I had to be decisive. That was a piece of the puzzle. And then I had to get good with me. I had to know who I was and what I wanted. And then I had to know who I wanted to include and invite into my life and who would increase and enhance my life. I was already whole, right? I wasn't looking for someone to make me whole. I was already whole. I had done the work, and I wanted a whole person to share my life with as well. So he needed to be that person, right? So when it all came out, I don't know if you care about the outcome of this or not, but it was so interesting because his humor showed up immediately. He was very funny. And because when I reached out to him, I didn't really reach out like an email or a phone call or something bold. I clicked the little winky emoji. I was like, wink. And I was like, what happened? What did I just do? How scary is that? You know? And he responded back pretty quickly and said, well, thanks for, quote, reaching out. Like, you know, how bold are you? So we kind of hit it off right away. Turns out that we have been around each other our whole lives, and including where we grew up, the state we grew up in, the place we went on our first honeymoons with different people, and where we ended up, like the different states we lived in. We even at one point went to the same concert with different people during our dating years, and we ended up living on the same street at the same time at one point when we were both newly married. So such irony. It was really crazy, but my entire checklist was checked off by the end of our third date. You know, he was fully connected to his mom. He took me on an adventure. We climbed a trail, Angel's Landing in Zions. He was fun. Oh, another thing on my list was he had to have rhythm and be able to dance, and the guy can dance. I mean, we did it all like mostly on our first date. Like we hiked, we had dinner, we had good conversation, we laughed our heads off. He has man hands. He's a woodworker, he's a builder, he's a family man, he's loyal, he's cuddly. I have to run to keep up with him. His energy is high. He feels like home, like the whole 9 yards. And I knew by date number 3. So I had to backtrack to see what was it I did to manifest the man of my dreams. And that's not to say he was perfect, and it's not to say I am perfect. It's to say that we were both willing and allowing of one another's personal growth. So yeah, we have tiffs, and yeah, there's been things to discuss and overcome, but I'm telling you, it's like the growth opportunities are wide and vast and interesting and fun and so good. Like, you know, when we first met, he taught me how to mountain bike. Talk about personal growth, man. I couldn't even get out of the driveway without falling down and skinning my knee. But he had patience. He wanted me to learn. And then we got a tandem mountain bike so that we could spend time together. He wanted me with him. Like, I can't even tell you to the detail for which the man of my dreams showed up. It was incredible, and it was very much a testament to the intention that I put and the emotional alignment that I put into the manifestation. Because when he showed up, it was everything that I had put very specifically on my list. And it was because I lined my energy up with who I am, what I want, and then I got out of my own way and I just trusted. I was open to receiving. I was imagining all the puzzle pieces moving around to, you know, for his divorce to be final and my divorce to be final, and that we would start looking at the same time in the same platform. And it turns out we were in the same town. He was 10 minutes down the street. So, and I had moved to this place to sort things out, and that's where he was. And I didn't discover him until after my divorce was final. So it was really on point. And I'm telling you that manifesting works that way, that if you want the person of your dreams, you've got to be the person of your dreams. Is that the bottom line here? I think that's the bottom line. If you are going to daydream about them, you got to daydream about you. Who are you? Who do you want to become? And that will line you up with the energy of somebody who will be a mirror image of the energy, the good energy that you're part of. You could also be the bad energy, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to line up with that. So, but you could be the good energy. And when you line up with the good energy and you open yourself up to receiving, trusting in the timing, and knowing that it's all going to be working out for you, bam, magic happens. But it was because I did what I said I wanted to do. I went towards the yes that was already given to me when I asked for a loving relationship in which I could grow. Right? So there you go. That is my take on manifesting the person of your dreams, or manifesting the you. You are the person of your dreams. And life just gets better. It does. If you're in a dark place and you're not sure what to do and you can't see your future, practice these things. Dream big. Know who you are. Get clear on what you want. Be open to receiving what you want, because that's the big one. Number 4, if you practice any of these, practice number 4, because we are really good at saying what we want and then slamming the door on it. So future podcasts. Be open to receiving. Trust the timing. It will work out in its true timing. And then know that it is being worked out ahead of your even asking for it. Okay? All right, it's time to get going. Let's get living. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.